Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kayla, and if you're not new, thanks for coming back. Always happy to have you. I like to do a lot of book and lifestyle content on this channel, so if that's something that you enjoy, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and think about sticking around. Today I am super excited for this video because it is a reading vlog of my experience reading the book The Hobbit for the first time. The Hobbit movies, which are based on the book by J.R.R. Tolkien, are some of my favorite movies. There's something so like comforting and whimsical and like nostalgic about watching those movies. It's just such like an escapist fantasy, which I love. I didn't have the experience of growing up with The Hobbit. I really didn't watch them as a kid, or the Lord of the Rings movies. I really didn't have those either. I watched them for the first time last fall in 2021 and I absolutely fell in love with them. And I have had to read the book before, but I didn't finish it. I was actually assigned to read The Hobbit when I studied abroad in England at Oxford, studying Oxford fantasy writers, and I never finished The Hobbit. I got about a quarter of the way through, but I think it is super helpful that I've seen the movies to kind of have a frame of reference going into reading. I want this to be a reading experience vlog for the both of us. I really just want us to be able to enjoy The Hobbit in its full glory and just really dive in and sort of romanticize this experience, which is something that I've been really happy to do lately. So if you have a copy of The Hobbit, go grab it. Let's read it together. We're gonna go on this journey, this unexpected journey with Bilbo together, and I'm really, very excited. There will be later in this video a real-time reading sprint, so if you want to take some time and read along with me, even if it's not The Hobbit, if you're reading something else, make sure you have your book handy and let's do it. It's also important that you have something warm and cozy to read because that's exactly what Bilbo Baggins would have in his hobbit hole as he's going on a reading journey. So I have myself some honey lavender tea. Which you saw me make. I have a candle going. My nice mood lights are on, so get yourself comfortable and cozy and let's get ready to read. I used to not be like this, but I am really struggling to read in silence. So the first thing to kind of enhance this Hobbit reading experience is some music. I have 2 playlists on Spotify. I did not create them, but I'm going to share them with you and they will be linked in the description box so you can listen to them while you read The Hobbit as well. This is the first one on Spotify. It is Hobbit Vibes. I don't know if you can see her name. I think it's Breeze. This one I do have to skip a couple of songs, but they do have some from the soundtrack, which is nice. This is kind of a good, like, I think cottagecore playlist, if that's what you're interested in. This one is really good too. This is the soundtrack from all of the movies, which are mostly instrumentals, which I really appreciate. And I think I'm going to be listening to this one today. This is by Impact Records. Last thing before we dive into actually reading, The Hobbit is only about 300 pages, so it's not a super long read. It'll go super quick, which I'm really excited about. I'm already on page 21. I'm really excited to have some like not interrupted reading time of The Hobbit. So I'm gonna get to reading and drinking this tea. I'm gonna play the music playlist. And what I would also, this is the other thing I want to do. I'm going to put on some Hobbit ambiance on my TV as well, just so I really feel like I'm in the Shire. And I will link all the ambiance that I'm using in the description box down below as well. There are videos here on YouTube as well that are super nice. It is like 10 o'clock right now, 9:45-ish, and I work from home tomorrow, which is really nice, so I get to stay up a little bit later reading. Good morning. It is Friday. It's like 8:30 and I have about half an hour until I start working from home. And on Friday mornings and Monday mornings when I work from home, I either go to the gym before work or I just take like 30 minutes to just put on a candle, read quietly, and drink my coffee before I start the day. So today I want to make some good progress in The Hobbit. I read on the train, but I didn't get to give you an update. The day I read on the train, I read about 40 pages, 50 pages. So I'm on like 120 right now, which is about halfway through The Hobbit, and I'm really enjoying it. I will say so far with this book, it is helpful that I had seen the movies and had a frame of reference, because some of the things like he describes and you might know like what a dwarf is or what an orc is, but like when you see it and you have a picture of exact or what you would hope J.R.R. Tolkien is imagining as he's writing is kind of helpful. So yeah, or like Beorn and Beorn's like house. So I'm right at that part where they're with Beorn. So I'm excited to see what's next. I feel like it's all of the stuff with the elves and with Lake Town, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna take about 35 minutes. This is going to be the real-time read with me section. Sorry, not 35, 25. So if you don't want to read along with me, I will leave a little like timestamp sticker down below here. I am going to have some light music going, so if that bothers you, you might want to turn your volume down. But go grab a coffee, a tea, get a comfy blanket. We're going to totally channel Bilbo Baggins. Grab your book and let's just read together for 25 minutes. And while you do this, leave me a comment down below of what you are currently reading right now, because I'm always looking for new books to read. So let's do it. Okay, I just got my 25-ish minutes of reading done. I hope you got some good reading done as well if you joined me. If you did, what are you reading? Are you liking it? Is it going well? I got about 30 pages farther into The Hobbit, so I'm at about 150 right now, and I'm having a lot of fun. We're in the Mirkwood. We're in the Mirkwood, which is like my least favorite scene in the movie because of all those frickin' spiders. So it's not super fun to read, but I think we're getting out of the Mirkwood, which is good. I do want to read out on my lunch today. I think I said this in my spring TBR because The Hobbit was on my spring TBR if you watched that video. And The Hobbit in general just reminds me so much of springtime, like the Shire, just like Bilbo Baggins himself just seems like a very like springtime character for me. So today is actually supposed to be really nice outside. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees, which is fantastic for New England in March. So I think after my meetings are done around noon, I'm gonna go outside and sit on my deck for my lunch and do my work out on the deck. And I'm gonna bring The Hobbit along with me to do some reading later today. Right, it is a few days since I last picked up my Hobbit book to read. It was a busy weekend in between that I did not get the chance to read, but it is Tuesday and I got home from work pretty early, so I figured, well, my house is all clean and organized and looking good, that what better time to read than now. My boyfriend is on his way with some takeout that we're gonna eat tonight. We're gonna play the Switch and just hang out. But I have like 30-35 minutes until he gets here, so I'm gonna just fully take advantage and read and enjoy. I'm trying to remember where I left off. I think they got through the Mirkwood forests. Yes, so they've just been captured by the spiders of the Mirkwood forest and they're getting out right now. So let's get to read and see where Bilbo ends up. I'm on page 150, so I have like 125 pages left and I'm very, very excited. I want to finish it so bad, I just haven't been able to. It's been a long while since I did a Hobbit reading update. I'm still reading The Hobbit. It's been like a month. A busy month. My house is now for sale. Got a new apartment ready to go. And this weekend I was hell-bent on finishing The Hobbit. If you can hear my laptop, that sounds like it's about to explode. Just, you know, uploading a YouTube video, that's what happens. It's like 11:30 on Sunday night and I work from home tomorrow, which is why I'm up so late. But I have, as I'm yawning, not that tired. And my boyfriend Grant came over this afternoon and we went on a walk while the open house was happening for my house. And then we came back and everybody was just dead, like so tired. So Grant took a little nap, and I don't nap that well, so I read while he napped, and I got a good like 30-40 pages read. I'm really cold. And now I'm just like snuggled up in bed and I want to read because I have like 60 left. Don't know that I'll get to finish it today, which is a bummer, but worst case I can finish it tomorrow morning before I have to work because I'm working out at night instead of in the morning. But let's do some reading. Let's keep on going. It is Monday, so I filmed that last clip of me reading before bed yesterday, which was Sunday night. Let's see, I'm on 230 and I have to get to 280 to be done. I am so close. They've killed Smaug. Smaug? Yes, Smaug. Sorry for the spoiler alert. I have a poppy. I have water. I have a candle. My phone is on do not disturb. I have Hobbit ambiance. I have all of my needs satisfied so I can sit here and finish reading. I've eaten dinner. I've showered. I've done my workout. It's 7:22 p.m. and I don't go to bed until 11. If I don't finish this blessed book today, I'm going to scream. So we're just gonna read, get our last chunk of this book read, and then we're gonna talk about what I thought. All right, I wanted to check in because I finally finished reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Final thoughts on The Hobbit. I don't know why it took me so long to read. It took me about a month, which is the longest it's taken me to read a book so far this year. It took me a month, and why I don't really get why it took me so long is because I was actually really enjoying it. Like, reading the events of the story that I know from the movie was fun. Like, it was like, oh, I know what's coming next. And then reading it, and you get so much of the perspective of Bilbo. Like, you learn so much more about him, and he has so much more personality and like character. He was a lot more like he put up with less of the dwarves shit. Like, he didn't let them walk all over him. He wasn't as timid. He like spoke his mind a lot more in the book than he did in the movie. So that was like the first thing that I noticed that I liked. But yeah, yesterday I went to read and I read for like half an hour and I still had like 35 pages left. And I was like, I can't do this. So then I scrolled for a little bit on TikTok, and then like in the last half hour before bed, I powered through those last 35 pages. And what was, oh, my bagel's ready. What was unfortunate is that I felt like I was just reading it to get to the end because I wanted it to be done. Which is like not ever a great reading experience, right? Like, if you're just reading it to finish it, like, is not that good. So that was kind of a bummer, not gonna lie. And I think I would read it again, maybe when I'm not like, I don't know, maybe when I'm not like pressuring myself so much. Not that I pressured myself, but like I had a lot going on and I didn't have like the most succinct reading experience with all the moving stuff happening, so maybe that was part of it too. Overall, I really liked The Hobbit. I am excited to say that I read like a classic and I read my first Tolkien, and I liked The Hobbit. Like, I love the movie, and you just see how much the movies stuck to the book, which I appreciate. Like, if they had, it's a short book, it's like less than 300 pages. If they had made it all in one movie, they would have had to cut out a lot. So at first I really wondered why they made 3 movies, but they stuck to the book very, very well with the movies, which I appreciate. Do I think you should read The Hobbit? Here's the thing. If you are not interested in Tolkien, if you are not interested in Middle Earth, if you're not interested in the world of Lord of the Rings, I don't think you're missing anything by not reading The Hobbit. It's a good story. It's a happy story. Like, it's a nostalgic one that I think I would, it has like an inherent nostalgia, even though I didn't grow up with it. Like, I could see my kid, like myself reading that book to my kids and having them like grow up with like these fantastical visions of like dwarves and hobbits and giants and orcs and all these things. But if you're not interested, I don't think you're missing a whole lot. Like, if you're not interested, you're not going to enjoy it, kind of thing. But if you're kind of curious about what the world of Middle Earth could be like, or you're curious about Tolkien, or you want to get started, I think the Hobbit book is a really accessible way to do that. It doesn't have as much of the lore. The language is less complicated than, from what I've heard, in the other Lord of the Rings books, and I think it's a really great starting place. I also think it's like a happier, lighter story. Like, there's not as much going on. Like, it's a very linear plot. Like, they encounter one challenge, overcome it, encounter another challenge, overcome it, encounter the next challenge.
and you know what the end goal is from the very beginning. It's a very easy plot to follow. I think it's a great starting point. I would say watch the movies first. Like, I know I usually hate doing that because the books are always better. In the book, I think, I'm not gonna say the book is better in this case, just because Tolkien still is like a little wordy and takes a while to describe things, so it's very slow moving. But because they're so matched, the books and movies, I think it's a good frame of reference to have as you're reading. If you're ever like, what the frick is going on, you can have that frame of reference from watching the movie, if that makes sense. And then you have kind of like the background knowledge that when you read, it'll just make more sense to you. And if you love the Lord of the Rings movies, if you love The Hobbit, if you need a good springtime read, absolutely read The Hobbit. It's such a like springy, happy kind of story that if that's your vibe, definitely go for it. I'm very happy that I read it. I did enjoy it. Like when I was reading it and I was focused on it, I was enjoying it, but I did have a lot going on. I will read it again at some point. I'm not sure when, but I'm happy I read it. And that was, I think, my 8th book of the year so far. Overall, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I think that's pretty, I'm satisfied with that. I think that like makes sense for the pacing, for the story. I will say the biggest downfall of The Hobbit for me was the ending. I wanted there to be more of like a reflective moment for Bilbo of how far he came and like how much he changed as a person and how much he like believed in himself. And that didn't really happen, which was kind of a bummer. I was like wanting a more profound ending than I got. So that was the only bummer. But my next 2 reads I got going on are The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This is my book club book for this month, or one of them. And then I have Unlock Your Storybook Heart, some poems by Amanda Lovelace. I just have been really wanting to get back to reading and writing poetry. So if you want reviews for either of these 2 books, let me know in the comments. If you've read The Hobbit, what did you think? Did you enjoy it? Did it live up to your expectations? If you haven't read it and you want to, what questions do you have? What's holding you back? Let me know in the comments. So have a good one wherever you are, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.